what would you say to somebody then who's wanting to do whatever it is, who's like that, trying to fit in and not let their real personality out? Is there tricks or hacks that you could say to them that would encourage them to find their true self?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I'm a big fan of is my brother introduced this to me maybe 10 or 11 years ago, which is this concept that it's you focus on what your strengths are. And there was a book called Strengths Finder, which is kind of like, it's kind of like one of those online quizzes. You answer a series of questions. It sort of tells you what your strengths are. But I took it and I was like, okay, this kind of tells me, my strengths were adaptability and flexibility was number one, and that for me 100% tracks. But what it really was it kind of changed my thinking in terms of focusing rather than like, okay, how can I get better at this skill that I'm not very good at? Focusing on, okay, what am I already good at and how can I lean into those strengths to make them work even more? Because what I found is if you're leaning into your strengths and you're doing work that you enjoy, or work that that suits your strengths, you're going to enjoy the work, number one, and you're going to be better at the work.
Hmm.
So that's kind of like the nitty gritty nuts and bolts. The other thing is also find what you enjoy and do that, and don't feel like you need to do things like go to the bars, or this or that. Own your weirdness, and I think you'll have a much better time in this life. Because look, if you're living a lie, or if you're living a way that you think society says you should, and obviously I'm going to add in the disclaimer of don't be a violent person. Um, you know, you should follow society on not attacking people in the street. But as long as and you're doing it in such a way that doesn't harm yourself or others, I think you're going to have a much, much happier life. And chances are a more successful life.
Because it was something like when I found your material, I was like, "Oh, this guy's hilarious. He's really good at it, and you're just fun to watch." And then I remember, I think it was with your former radio station, they were speaking into one of your black colleagues, and he said, "Oh, we obviously have negative connotations with
Yep.
whipping." And then you have videos where you've gone away and you've been sent a whip from like a particular culture, and you're learning about it, how it's used and stuff. Do you think that sort of you're deep diving into whipping, into learning these skills, has it shown you more about the world? Do you think has it made you a better performer because you've understood the how these tools are used in society and the cultural values to that and performance in general? I know it's a bit of a peer question, but
No, I like it. I think, so I don't know that the show itself has done it, but I've grown as a person, um, over the years, and that has informed how the show has changed. When I first kind of started this, my impression of whips was it's Indiana Jones, and I learned that not everyone has that thought when they first see a guy with a whip. And so,
hmm.
part of the Jacques Whipper being non-threatening is, okay, how can we make whips in general less threatening? Um, as far as some of the other jokes in the show, there were jokes in the show that probably weren't sensitive